Good morning, Ramon Magsaysay Memorial Colleges, and good morning, Bachelor of Elementary Education students. Technology plays a fundamental role in our lives nowadays, especially we're still in the midst of pandemic. From Lake Cebu, South Cotabato, Ms. Michelle Pahota will report about the history of educational technology and information and communication technology. Ms. Pahota?
So yes, Raya, the development of educational technology can be traced even during the early beginning of man's effort to live. So would you believe that technology could be traced as early as the Stone Age? So we have three ages, which are the Stone Age, Bronze, and the Iron Age. The first one, Stone Age, could be shown by the ignition of fire by rubbing two stones, hand weapon manufacturing, making utensils out of stones, and clothes out of skin and fur of an animal. So in this age, people developed the canoe ship, which enabled them to cross or travel across the ocean and so much more. One is Bronze Age. So this period showed the development of agricultural technology, fishing techniques, and domesticating animals, and establishment of permanent homes instead of going from one place to another. The people also developed metal technology using copper and bronze. So the third one is the Iron Age. So during the Iron Age, the people made progress by resorting to smelting or iron smelting technology, since iron was more cheaper than bronze. So the Iron Age was the last period prior to the discovery of brain. Now let's move to the educational technology during the period of Asian civilization. So educational technology during the Asian civilization, when the tribal priests introduced bodies of knowledge in ancient culture and introduced sign writing or pictographs to record or transmit information. So the Harappan people, writing was described as the pictographic script. So the script was contained 400 basic signs with variation. So it was found seals used in trade and official and administrative activities. So during this period, the Chinese civilization also contributed technology like paper, seismological detector, toilet papers, matches, suspension bridge, wheelbarrow, parachute, natural gas as fuels, magnetic compass, elevated relief map, and gunpowder. The longest surviving and used language in the world is Egyptian language. So the script was made up of pictures of real birds and animals, different tools, and etc. So these pictures are popularly called hieroglyphics. Some are curious about the educational technology during medieval and modern period. So a German inventor, Johannes Gutenberg, invented the printing press in approximately 1450 AD. So during the pre-industrial phases, when the industry was at the hard work or artisan level, the industrial process utilizes gadgets like slate, horns, and this time only textbook was used with a few illustrations. So educational technology was associated with simple aids like pictures and charts. The art of teaching recommended for the application of knowledge derived from the behavioral psychology classroom produces along with the use of automated teaching devices. So Benjamin Bloom introduced the taxonomy of educational objectives through his publication. So electronic is the main technology being developed in the beginning of the 21st century. Broadband internet access became popular. So the technology used is based on specific need requirements of the education to address education-related problems to facilitate the implementation, evaluation of progress about human learning. So educational technology went through 5 stages. Stage of educational technology is associated with the use of aids like charts, maps, symbols, models, specimen, and concrete materials. So educational technology referred to audiovisual aids. So example of audiovisual aids are those that cater sense of hearing, sight, touch, smell, and sense of taste. And now the examples of reading materials are books, magazines, journals, fall under the category of sense of sight. So for sense of hearing, technology involved the sound system, tapes, cassette, which are used during school activities. So for visual aids, used to learn through the sense of touch are the materials showing texture, real objects, materials that can be manipulated by the learners. So in the sense of smell and taste are usually used in experimental learning in vocational and livelihood courses. So in other instances, when resources were limited, the chalkboard, chalk, charts, and pictures were used. Stage 2 in the development of educational technology refers to the introduction of electronics through the sophisticated hardware and software. This stage shows the use of varied audiovisual gadgets like projector, tape recorder, radio, and etc. So which mark changes in the educational scenery. So these gadgets were used for effective presentation in lectures or in lessons. The history of educational technology revolved around the use of communication enhancement equipment to promote mass media for instructional purposes. So computer-assisted instruction or CAI became an important component of instruction. So in addition, both students and teachers were use the computer to serve for topics and for some researches. Stage 4 exemplified individualized teaching and learning with the use of program instruction. So it created a new approach to educational technology with the introduction of self-learning based on self-instructional materials and teaching machines. The last page is the latest concept of educational technology is influenced by the system engineering or system approach. So it focuses on the language, laboratories, teaching machine, program instruction, multimedia technologies, and the use of computer in instruction. This is Michelle B. Pahota reporting, so back to the studio.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pahota. Now, History of Information and Communication Technology and Education. From Barangay Olimpog, Ms. Gretchen Cabalida will report about it. Ms. Cabalida?
Hello, my name is Gretchen P. Cabalida, reporting for the History of Information and Communication Technology in Education. UNESCO, or the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, uses the term ICT, or the Information and Communication Technology, to describe the tools and the processes to access, retrieve, store, organize, manipulate, produce, present, and exchange information by electronic and other automated means. These include hardware, software, and telecommunications in the forms of personal computers, scanners, digital cameras, phones, faxes, modems, CD and DVD players and recorders, digitized video, radio and TV programs, database programs, and multimedia programs. Historical context is important to better understand the evolution of information and communication technology in education. So there are 5 phases of using computer in education. First is the late 1970s to early 1980s, which is the programming, drill, and practice. This is the era when computers beginning to be used in the school. It was in the early of 1980s when teachers were teaching ADP, stands for Automated Data Processing, to develop students' logic and math skills. There was also software developed by teachers for simple drills and practice exercises for math and language learning. Second phases is the late 1980s to early 1990s, which is the computer-based training or CBT with multimedia. Golden era of CD-ROOMs and multimedia computers contributed a lot to students' learning. Students appeared to learn better by watching movies or animations and listening to audios, whereas some learned better by reading or watching still images. The third wave is the early 1990s, which is the Internet-Based Training or IBT. The third wave of using computers in education came with the adaptation of the World Wide Web. Since information changes so fast, the internet became a rich source of the expanding knowledge and giving internet-based learning. But again, without the multimedia, all one could do on the internet were early experiments with animations, videos, and audios. The fourth phases is the late 1990s to early 2000, which is the e-learning. The e-learning industry was built even though it was not proven that anyone needed these products. The markets for e-learning courses and the specialty for learning management systems or LMS were created. The pedagogical thinking around the e-learning is closely related to the computer-based learning. The point is to deliver courses for a student. The last and fifth phase is the late 2000, which is the social software plus free and open content. In the late 2000, social software and free and open content mark a real breakthrough in the field of educational technology. Blogs and wikis have already brought web back to its original idea, which is simply a tool for personal notes that are easily accessible and even editable by peers and your potential peers. Learning with computers is not only about programming or drill and practice, nor about multimedia, nor about fast updating or cost efficiency. It is all about people sharing ideas. Again, this is Gretchen Cabalida reporting.
Thank you so much, Ms. Cabalida. Now, importance of educational technology. I am Rhea May Arca reporting. Chapter 3. Importance of educational technology. Technology is the need of the day. Every technological reform is a small step towards advancement. Every invention in technology is a step towards the progress of mankind. Centuries ago, people never thought of working on a computer. Generations of the past would have hardly imagined being able to communicate with people on the other side of the globe. But there were some intelligent minds who dared to dream of revolutionary discoveries that they made the impossible possible. So, benefits of technology in education. Instructional effectiveness. One benefit of multimedia instruction can be increased in student achievement. Students appear to be much interested when more senses are involved in lesson presentation and activities. They learn more when they see and read, hear, and experience exercises designated for them. Active learning interactive technology supplies stimulating environments that encourage students' involvement in the learning process. Students enjoy playing games, solving problems, and working interactively with computer lessons, modules, and practice exercises. Critical thinking. The structure and use of technology can promote higher-level thinking skills. The learner participants are assisted to remember, understand, apply, synthesize, evaluate, and create. Technology can design exercises to enrich their thinking skills, making decisions, and testing the credibility of decisions through reflective and reasoning thinking. Cooperative learning. Well-structured cooperative learning activities can foster the development of leadership abilities, teamwork, and improve self-esteem. These conditions will uplift the ego of the slow learners and give a sense of achievement among the bright ones through helping others improve their learning. Next is the communication skills. Communication skills can be enhanced by using technology in small groups and by interacting the clock telecommunications into the curriculum. Exposure to correct pronunciation, diction, and enunciation will encourage the students to emulate what they hear. Exposure to good and correct grammar will enable them to get used to speaking and proper communication. Next is the multi-sensory delivery technology. Supplies information through multiple sensory channels, allowing the students with various learning styles to assimilate and apply knowledge. Multicultural education telecommunications make it possible to expand classroom walls and link students and teachers in national and international exchanges. We are now on the importance of technology in schools. Researchers gave account of why technology is important in schools. Studies have shown the following results. Children conversant with technology show improvements in writing, reading, and math skills. Technology has also contributed to the decrease in dropout rates, improved student attendance, and enhanced their learning abilities. Technology in school benefits the children during their higher education. It lays a strong foundation of the successful professional life of an individual. Computers can offer livelier explanation of various subjects. The internet is an ocean of information, which can be harnessed for the retention of information in school. The inclusion of technology in the process of learning makes learning an enjoyable activity, thus inviting greater interest from the kids. The knowledge from all around the world can be better brought about for the children and can be better assimilated by them. Students can be given exercises about thinking critically. Critical thinking is the reflective, reasonable, staying focused on what one believes and those when confronted with problems. The technology related to the thinking skills are used by the learners to find the reasonable solution by analyzing, synthesizing, and evaluating to come up with a judgment. Rhea May Arca reporting. Back to studio. Technology as a social medium to support learning from Barangay Tinagakan, Mr. Lawrence Zelzan Malunes will report about it. Mr. Malunes?
When it comes to the technology as a social medium, it's important to support learning by conversing through. Number 1, collaborating with others. For example, young students listen to political candidates' plans after election and collaborate with other voters in analyzing who is the best candidate to be chosen. Number 2, discussing, arguing, and building consensus among members of community. Students conform health brigade and discuss with community people how to observe cleanliness and help healthy upkeep the surroundings to prevent diseases like dengue, typhoid fever, cholera, and other diseases. They can warn on wrong practices in the use of leisure time like gambling, drinking wine, and the use of drugs through positive reminders and showing the after effect of these vices. Number 3, supporting discourse among knowledge-building communities. For example, students can initiate activities like putting up a community vegetable garden to ashes on what, why, and how in gardening. Students can discuss the food value of the vegetables in the proper preparation and cooking of the vegetables. Number 3, constructing personal representation of meaning for supporting mindful thinking. For example, the students will be asked to answer this question. If you are a communication gadget, what would you be as student? May select a microphone and told us the reason for selecting it. So that's the thought to be heard by listeners who are far from the speaker. Another will select a radio and would reason out that main menus could be related to others. The last students will select a television so that the news related can be also seen by the viewers. This exercise will promote mindful thinking to support personal presentations. Research indicates that technology, when used effectively, whether from the traditional or constructivist point of view, and when used effectively, increases students' learning, understanding, and achievement, but also arguments. What aviation to learn, encourage collaborative learning, and supports the development of critical thinking and problem-solving skills, according to Chapter and Fagnano 1999, Chapter 4, Roles of Educational Technology Beliefs about educational technology, the history of educational technology that many educators, parents, and students believe the reason for using technology are based into major beliefs. One, technology is composed of tools to facilitate learning. They should be used in education, and to research has shown the effectiveness of computer-based methods. The teacher must create their vision, define technology's roles in the school, then plan for its use. The rationale identified for using technology will be guided in setting the goals, the skills and resources needed to accomplish these goals. When it comes to the 4 pillars of education in the 21st century skills, each learner must consider education as a lifelong learning, and certain skills are associated with each pillar of education. There are 4 pillars of education, namely learning to learn, learn to do, learning to live together, and learning to be. Occasional technology is closely related to the 4 pillars because acknowledges skills to and tools help the learning attain them, whereas learning to learn enable one to address coping with situations that need knowledge. Greater intellectual curiosity shapes the mental faculties and enables one to make judgment on the things and situations they experience. The last pillar is the learning to be gives an individual a picture of what the plans to be after certain periods in his lifetime. The learner's outlook about himself may vary from the time to time as he realizes certain episodes in his life. Example is, at a young age, he wants to finish his elementary schooling, then secondary schooling, and later the tertiary preparation for the world of work. This pillar will provide a goal to an individual on the specific knowledge, competencies, and tasks which one should acquire for a successful life. This may concern aesthetic, artista, scientific, cultural, social, and developing imagination and creativity. The learner can also discover technologies which will be necessary in attaining what he wants to be. Research findings show that this was the reason given by college freshmen for enrolling in certain institutions of higher learning. I am Lawrence T. Malunes reporting. Back to you, Rhea.
Thank you so much, Mr. Malunes. Indeed, technology helps us a lot, especially when it comes to education. So, that's the hottest news that we gather for today. Goodbye and magandang Jensen.